With Perkins on the bench, that means he'll go to Chris Brust.
Well, Brust has had a lot of experience, and that's very helpful in a situation like this, as opposed to having to put in a freshman or an untried ball player. He has good hands out there. He knows what to do, and, of course, he knows the system, so that'll be helpful.
Sometimes, you know, Bill, a team will lose a star player like this, and it just inspires them on to greater heights. We'll see how this is going to turn out here tonight. It should be a dandy. And we'll be back with the team lineups after these messages. Shoulder a great deal of responsibility. James Worthy probably going to have a lot more thrust on him tonight. North Carolina leads this series by a wide margin, but since 1977, it's only 9-7 in favor of North Carolina. And here we go, the tip control by North Carolina. Michael Jordan hands it over to Jimmy Black, and it's a man-for-man. And Billy, I know she introduced Helms and Jordan against each other. That'll be an interesting matchup, Helms on Jordan.
Nice size matchup. Of course, experience in Helms' favor, but Michael Jordan, quite a freshman.
Here's Worthy, and the first shot misses. Tipped up by Brust almost, but Johnstone's got it. Here comes Wake Forest with a chance to take the first lead. We're in the first 30 seconds, no score. North Carolina without Sam Perkins. And, of course, Wake Forest without Alvis Rogers. Key players for both. Perkins probably more sorely missed. Johnstone cannot handle it. It's batted away from him. I think this is the second start that I can.
And over 88 at the foul line.
And of course, Perkins did not play out on the West Coast one ball game.
Okay, so he's had limited starting assignments. Plagued by injuries go back to before his senior year in high school.
Well, he arrived at North Carolina with an injury problem. And really never did get on track for the first couple of years. But Jimmy's been in the system for so long, it's not a matter of putting a guy that's inexperienced out there because he's been in practice every day. So he knows the system. He just doesn't have the great athletic skills.
Danny Young, key player, feeds inside to Morgan. Partially blocked by Worthy. Here comes North Carolina's fast break. Jimmy Black checked by Young. No scores yet. We've gone almost a minute. Worthy spins inside.
Sensational move inside and a great pass by Brust in the perfect position to hit Worthy.
So give Brust an assist here in the first minutes of the game. 2-0 North Carolina. Now sticking man for man.
You saw that trap out of the man-to-man. North Carolina throws a lot of defenses out of team.
Johnstone blocked out of bounds. You notice they don't put Brust on Johnstone. He's being guarded by James Worthy.
And you know who made that block was Michael Jordan. You've got Jordan and Doherty out there. Excellent shot blockers for guys that you normally wouldn't think at that position would get their hands on the ball.
Now they're asking Chris Brust to guard Guy Morgan. Now we'll keep an eye on that setup.
Morgan should be able to take him from the forward spot.
2-0 in favor of North Carolina. There goes Toms on the inside. Rebound is scratched away by Doherty. Fast break, North Carolina. Jimmy Black. Great pass to Brust.
Jimmy Black, one of the most underrated point guards in the United States. There he is. Who created the contact? They say Black went up and initiated it.
That'll be a foul on Jimmy Black, but he just made another sensational play. And who was there to get the dump, a slam dunk? Chris Brust. How often have you seen a guy come off the bench rather unheralded, filling in for a superstar and go to his greatest heights? Of course, we're very early. Only 2 minutes gone by. Pressure defense by North Carolina. They've got the first 4 points of the game.
Carolina's defense, Jim, as this year has moved on, has really progressed. They do so many different things, but their traps are excellent, and the guys cover well.
There goes Morgan. Banks up inside. Brust with a rebound. Well, Brust has come through in flying colors here the opening couple of minutes of the game. 4-0. Brust feeds to Worthy on the floor, and he's fouled. That'll be on a reach-in by Danny Young. First foul of the game against Wake Forest.
Wake Forest needs to be a little bit more patient offensively. Carl Tacey kind of calmed down there. Dean Smith working the officials already. Of course, he feels he's one down with Perkins. You can see Smith working him, and there's Tacey.
Pretty good scouting report he has on this team, the defense. Of course, these guys know each other well. Tacey's teams the last 3 or 4 years have held their own with North Carolina. Of course, 1 year ago, pulled off one of the most resounding upsets in the whole league here. Not by the fact that they won, but by how much.
Jim, I think one of the key things to play North Carolina is to have a guard that knows how to control the pace of the game. And they had Frank Johnson last year, and you can remember when they had Skip Brown over here and did a fine job. You have to have a team that doesn't try to go through the teeth of the defense.
5-0 North Carolina. Pressure defense. They're trying to get it to Morgan. Feet inside, broken up by Doherty. North Carolina's defense thus far really shining. That'll go out of bounds to North Carolina.
Wake trying to throw that ball inside to Johnstone. It was an excellent pass from a standpoint of the way that Morgan tried to execute it, but just a little bit too low.
5-0 North Carolina, playing without Sam Perkins, who's in the infirmary. And the guess is he may be watching the game.
Great man-to-man. Wake Forest trying to stick inside, some good screens.
Weak side drive by Doherty, and he draws a foul on John Toms. Of course, has been right here at Chapel Hill.
I was kidding Eddie Fogler down there during the introduction. I said, Eddie, tonight you'll find out what kind of a coach you are. He said, I'm a lousy coach, but see the guy standing over there? He really knows how to coach. And of course, you know who he was pointing to.
2 shots to Doherty. Dean's kept his staff pretty well in stock. Guthrie's been here how many years?
A long time.
Tipped outside to North Carolina. Michael Jordan will get it. Tar Heels have the first 6 points of the ball game. 6-0, and we're a little over 3 minutes in the contest. James Worthy powers inside.
Really surprised that Morgan wasn't able to stay with Worthy. Morgan normally a very good defensive player, but Worthy looks like he's super psyched up tonight without his running mate Perkins out here.
One more time down court. Wake Forest may have to get a timeout to settle down.
And you can see where
feeds to Morgan inside, and Morgan goes up and draws the foul on Worthy.
You can see Carl Tacey ready to go for that timeout. Jimmy knew he had to have a good possession that time. Dean Smith wanting a walk-in violation.
There's his respect for split in tournaments, didn't he? Big Four went to Wake and the ACC to North Carolina.
I was on the road that night listening to that ball game, and when I turned it on, I could tell by Woody Durham's voice that the Tar Heels were in deep, deep trouble. And then I heard Jim Hebner say, well, we can get it down to 20. And I said, what game is he talking about? It was an unbelievable ball game.
First point by Wake Forest, though, by Guy Morgan. 8-1, 7-point lead of the Tar Heels, who have been a house of fire playing without one of their superstars.
Wake goes to the zone now. Tichy in the lineup, an excellent rebounder. Johnstone in the 2-3, sitting back in the middle.
Doherty, a very smart ball player. Worthy in the thick. Batted up by Worthy, but Johnstone now has it for Wake Forest. 8-1. Still have no field goal by Wake Forest. There goes Helm. Good shooter. Will not go, and Morgan follows twice.
And of course, there's with Morgan doing a good job on the offensive board. Brush not a shot blocker, so Morgan able to put it back up 2 times.
Tar Heels by 5. We're still in the first 5 minutes of the game. North Carolina got off to a good start. Doherty inside, flips it. Rebound grabbed by Morgan. He's a great rebounder for Wake Forest at forward.
An excellent move by Carl Tacey to go to this zone to check Carolina out without that Perkins in the lineup.
Rebound ripped off by Worthy. Gets Black out in front. Here comes Young trailing, but Black's got it.
Smart play by Jimmy Black. He hesitated to put Young on his backside. Therefore, Young couldn't go in for the block and time his leap.
10-3, 7-point lead now by North Carolina. We've played exactly 5 minutes in the first half. Packed crowd at Carmichael Auditorium. Reach-in foul here's by Jimmy Black, I believe. That's going to be his second one. And now with the score, North Carolina 10, Wake Forest 3. Let's pause those conference. This game going around the country tonight by cable and also into subscription paid TV, plus our regular ACC networks. A lot of folks watching here as Wake Forest tries to break through on North Carolina's home court. Tar Heels right in front quickly now, 10-3.
Going to 2-3 zone of their own. Worthy in the middle. Without Perkins in there, their lineup changes an awful lot, Jim, and some of the things that they can do to you change an awful lot also. He has that ability against the zone to go out and take the jumper. Of course, he's a big shot blocker in the middle and almost allows Worthy to be a secondary rebounder.
They're running Morgan the baseline, trying to get a screen set by Johnstone. Outside shot by Danny Young.
Good
Bombs
shooter.
it from long distance. Guy who replaced Frank Johnson had a big game here many times. 10-5. Wake Forest trying to fight back after dropping behind 8 points at the outset. Now same zone set up here by Wake Forest.
I look for Michael Jordan to start getting in the offensive action now against his zone.
Black tried to throw that ball right through the zone to Chris Prust, and he almost got away with it.
He's got to remember that Perkins' hands are not on the floor. Pass like that, Sam Perkins with the great hands he can pick off.
Almost a collision there with Young and Doherty. Now Michael Jordan open, and it is the rebound off to Guy Morgan. Almost threw it away, and North Carolina saved it inbounds. Great move by Jordan. What an athlete.
Quite a hustle play. Michael Jordan did take one dribble too many before when he got in there and didn't get as good a jumper as he'd had right off the pass.
Jimmy Black looks inside the Wake zone. It's really packed inside. There's every player for Wake right in the lanes. Here comes Jordan from deeper.
There's the difference, Jim. He took it right off the pass for the jump shot against the zone instead of trying to penetrate with a dribble.
12-5, North Carolina back to a 7-point lead. 13-20 to go in the first half.
And back to man-to-man.
Boy, they don't let you get used to defense. Morgan over Brust. Rebound, Johnstone. Easy follow. Great position by Jim Johnstone. Somebody forgot to block the big blonde from New Canaan, Connecticut.
He's a hard-working fellow.
He really is. He's had a tough career, hasn't he? Came in here against Jaminski, and now he suffered through Perkins and Sampson.
Wake Forest changing up. Now they're playing a 1-3-1 zone defense.
Picked off by Morgan. They got a 3-3 break. They
Beautiful pass.
Teachy, and he blew the layup.
Lost his concentration. I think that he was enamored with the pass also. He thought the pass was going to go on over there to Morgan. Didn't concentrate at all.
Like Carl Tacey pacing the sidelines, realizing you don't give those up here. 12-7 inside. Worthy's hook. Good, and he's fouled. Foul by Johnstone.
Some kind of move.
Well, you know Worthy's got to feel a little extra adrenaline. The other bookend missing tonight.
He caught that ball, made a fake with it before he came back down to the ground and wheeled around, took that right-handed hook. I mean, there are not many guys in the country who can put that move on you.
He has a chance to equal North Carolina's longest lead. Now Sylvester Charles comes in for Wake Forest, replacing Morgan. Charles looks like a great player in the future for Wake Forest. He's a freshman from St. Thomas Virgin Islands, but been playing up around the Washington, D.C. area. Good now by Johnstone.
Foul shooting has hurt North Carolina. That's the one weak spot in their game. Slipped on the floor.
Yep, Danny Young.
That's going to be blocked.
There it comes Teachy. Blocked it, and now it's tipped up again and in by Doherty.
Teachy was going to get a piece of that one. He's an excellent shot blocker, and Braddock did not do what Jimmy Black did, which is slow down, get the guy on your hip, and then give that burst of speed at the end. But Teachy, a very good shot blocker.
Here's Teachy now, open on the baseline, partially blocked. Jeb Barlow, outlet pass to Black. Great fake, and then batted away by Young, who stayed right with Black. 16-7 lead pass. Johnstone, and Barlow hustles to knock it out of bounds. All right, North Carolina's make some big defensive plays. We have 11:55 to go in the first half. It is North Carolina 16 and Wake Forest 7. We'll be back with more ACC basketball after these messages from your local station. Approved by the Atlantic Coast Conference. That'll be the McDonald's MVPs at the conclusion or at the very end of tonight's game.
That's hard to believe. Wake Forest taking 24 shots already?
Yeah.
Huh?
That doesn't seem right. But
no, that can't be correct. Even though we've got great people in the truck, I've got to question 24 shots.
16-7.
A shot counts as one. When you make it, you count two. There we go. There's 3 of 14. We didn't think.
Good job by Braddock. Keep that ball alive to Black. Lobs inside. Worthy, very active. Draws the foul. Foul is going to be on Teachy, I believe. Nope, it's on Charles. Sylvester Charles, number 33.
He was up against James Worthy, who's a man, and they just overpowered him inside.
Worthy only 1 for 3 at the line. Make that 2 for 4. Show you how North Carolina can adjust its attack. Worthy and Perkins noted, of course, for being very strong inside for this team. And yet Saturday against Dukeville, the two of them together took only 13 shots, made 10 of them.
Here's that full court pressure now. Man-to-man, but they'll jump switch as soon as they get a chance. Now watch it.
Johnstone batted away. And there's Danny Young feeding underneath. They didn't get it there soon enough. Helms was wide open.
Again, concentration. That's twice that Wake has lost a chance for an easy basket. Lack of concentration on the catch. Now Wake in a 1-3-1 zone. Both teams really changing up a lot.
9-point lead by North Carolina. 18-7. 11:20 to go in the first half. Barlow takes a look at the baseline for Doherty. Good touch pass to Doherty. Wake coming out to get on the ball a little bit from their zone.
But with Helms running the baseline, they've got a guy with some size down in there, so he can't get buried.
North Carolina would like to give the ball to Worthy. Worthy's pretty well surrounded right now.
Michael Jordan on the wing here has got a chance too if Doherty can get it to him.
Batted out by Helms. North Carolina's ball is Chris Brust, who replaced Sam Perkins in the starting lineup tonight. Returns.
You can see what Dean Smith's going to do with Brust. He's going to give him a little break here and there, put in Barlow in with him so that he doesn't get worn down on a fatigue basis. He's just not used to playing that many consecutive minutes.
Michael Jordan double team. There goes Doherty, spots Jimmy Black, ends to Worthy for the right-hander. Well, Worthy's really been active for North Carolina. 20-7, 13-point lead, the biggest yet in the game. And we're not yet midway in the first half.
Back to man-to-man. Worthy on Johnstone, as you pointed out, Jim.
Now here's Danny inside, followed by Johnstone. He made sure he didn't lose his concentration on that one.
Johnstone takes up a lot of room inside, and he had excellent position defensively.
10 minutes to go in the first half. North Carolina up by 11, 20-9. Boy, they love that little triangle on the side. North Carolina does. They like Perkins, and well, taken away by Danny Young. Coming down on Jimmy Black. Got a 3-on-1 classic break. It'll be Danny Young with a stop. Might have gone a little deeper, but it wasn't a bad shot.
Yeah, he kind of slowed down a little bit.
Great catch by Worthy. Oh, and you see that catch.
Matt Doherty looking forward. Everybody breaking out of the pack. And as you pointed out, Jim, Young pulled up a little bit too early, and Kyle Tacey going to take that time.
Yes, sir. You get the feeling it's going to be something special tonight for James Worthy, who's trying to do it for both he and Sam. And with the score, North Carolina 22, Wake Forest 9. Let's pause for these messages.
It's like they're going to play the 2-3 zone.
Well, for those that might have had a little second thoughts about North Carolina's chances here tonight, that seems to be by the boards. They're performing like a machine. Here's the correct shooting.
Well, not a lot better. 3 for 15. Better than 3 for 24. But Wake Forest just hadn't had good shot selection, and they hadn't been concentrating on a catch. Without Johnstone, they'd be in real trouble.
Johnstone has picked up 3 of their 5 field goals. 22-11. North Carolina's doubled the scoring output so far. Chris Brust back in there. This is the original starting lineup for tonight's game. Zone for Wake Forest. We don't really have the matchup, but we look forward to here with Helms on Jordan.
Very patient offensive team is North Carolina. They look for the open spot, and everybody can score.
Jimmy Black, rebound out to Jordan. Oh, he just has basketball genes, doesn't he? Here he is, Michael Jordan setting. Kept alive by Worthy, but then Johnstone snatches away from the Deacons. Here comes Wake Forest trailing by 11 points.
Another tough catch.
And Johnstone left open. Jordan tried to gamble there, and Johnstone got free for his 4th field goal and 8th point. He has scored 8 of Wake Forest 13 points.
Wake Forest does an excellent job throwing that bounce pass down inside to Johnstone, who with his body and bulk takes up a lot of room in there, so it's tough defensively to handle that play.
There goes Worthy again. And there went Jordan over everybody.
Is that Jordan or Brust?
I think Brust got the tip in, but Jordan was soaring.
He cleaned it out.
4th point for Chris Brust. Most he's ever scored is 9 in a game. That was against Santa Clara.
Well, statistically, Jim, this year, Brust had only taken 15 shots going in this game. Sam Perkins had taken 117, so you can see quite a drop-off there in production.
There goes Morgan penetrating. He is fouled. That's on Worthy. Now 2 fouls on James Worthy. Suddenly is magnified in this game with Perkins out of the still out of the picture.
We'll see it right here. Now let's see if he gets.
But at the line will be Guy Morgan for Wake Forest. Scored 3 points. Carl Tacey showed he was a little bit disappointed with Morgan's early play here, or appeared to be, and now he's back in there.
Morgan is 72% free throw shooter. was injured at the beginning of the year, and there was a question whether or not he'd even be able to play at all this year. Thought they might redshirt him, and then lo and behold, he goes and is able to play, and they lose Alvis Rogers, their other forward.
24-15. Wake Forest back with a 9. They've trailed as much as 13. Little zone trap in the backcourt. Here's Jimmy. Braddock will take the shot. No one under. Rebound. Wake Forest should get it easily. Tichy was down there to keep the ball up.
That's Helms' shot.
That's it.
Good play by Wake Forest. Getting the ball down quickly. They're getting back in this game, Jim.
24-17. And goes out of bounds to Wake Forest. Jimmy Black taken right to the sidelines. He goes out of bounds with it.
I think he was surprised to see Danny Young right there on him, bringing the ball up court. He rode him right out of bounds, and Jimmy Black slipped, ran out of court.
There you see 449 victories for Dean Smith in his career here. This, of course, could be sort of a milestone, 450. If they can win it. But now it's 24-17. Wake Forest closing down the gap a bit. Tichy. There goes Danny Young outside. Rebound by Worthy. Boy, Worthy is having some night so far. North Carolina trying the long transition pass. Wake Forest has worked a couple of times.
Well, the reason for that is Helms likes to go down on the wings. If you go down on the wings, that only leaves one guard back, and Young there all by himself. So when he shoots the ball, really, there's nobody back for the long pass.
Doherty taken away by Danny Young. Here comes Wake running again. Basket here. They're back within 5, and that is Tichy.
He didn't lose concentration on that one. That was a tougher pass to catch than before. Wake Forest playing well, and Dean Smith may be going for a timeout here shortly. You better believe it.
Pass turns it over. Wake Forest a chance to get back within 3, and suddenly the complexion of this game changed again to his. Timeout for North Carolina with 6 minutes and 7 seconds to go in the first half. And now the lead is down to 5 for the Tar Heels. And we'll be back with more ACC basketball after these messages. A teammate of our old buddy, Bill.
He was a great player, of course, in the Atlantic Coast Conference, now living up in Milwaukee, and he was a tower of strength.
24-19. It's going to be an important possession for Wake Forest if they keep this comeback going.
Jim, remember that second foul on Worthy. Great steal.
Jimmy Black. Danny Young tracing. Black layup. Rebound down. The foul is going to be on Jordan. Well, that suddenly switched around.
Jimmy Black tried to do the same thing, keep a man on his hip, but he wasn't concentrating on the basket. We'll see him right here. Now watch this, a great steal by Black. Now watch what he tries to do. He keeps the man, he slows down, he gets the man on his hip, get ready to explode, but I think he just lost concentration as to where he was. Good hustle by Helms. Jordan on his back.
First foul on Jordan. 5 team fouls now. Full court defense here by North Carolina. Man-for-man press.
Johnstone did a wise thing coming back there to help out.
There goes Morgan. Got a man open. Morgan will bank it. And rebound by Johnstone. Slips out of his hand. Morgan has got it on the floor. Does it? Tries to get up. Will have a jump ball. So it'll be Wake Forest ball. North Carolina control the opening tap. This is the first thing resembling a jump ball so far.
Carl Tacey doing a good job, Jim. I think he changed his ball game around when he got out of the man-to-man and went to the zone early. Called a couple of key timeouts, and he's got his club right back in this ball game.
24-19. Basket here. It's his third time Wake's had a chance to pull within 3. Helms goes back to the point against the zone, and he'll go weak side to get his shot. That's his spot.
As a set play, and you notice that Morgan set the screen for Helms.
Another chance. 4th time Wake Forest has had a chance to get back within 3. Morgan driving, and he fires it in. And the lead is down to 3. 24-21. Four minutes, 55 seconds to go in the first half.
Wake Forest pressing just enough in the backcourt to keep the game tight for them defensively instead of just dropping straight back into that zone.
I think Wake Forest's game plan was trying to shore up their inside defense, and that changed when Perkins was lost. 24-21.
Sam Perkins really adds such a dimension to North Carolina in their zone offense because he can slide out and take the jump shot, plus he can move inside with Worthy, so you have 2 guys that can slip inside the zone.
There goes a set pass out to Doherty. Blocked by Morgan, who comes up with it. And he's got Helms on the right. Morgan takes it inside, and it's a charging foul on Morgan. A great defensive play by Jimmy Black.
Well, many times, Jim, on a break like this, you want Morgan to give up the ball sooner. If he'd have given up the ball, Helms would have come over to get it. Helms not used to being in the middle himself. If he'd have given up the ball, he'd had an opportunity to split Jimmy Black, but Black did a great job staying back in there.
Boy, no question. He cut that lane off right in the center. Morgan charged for his first foul, turns the ball back. So it could have been a chance for the Deacons to get it down to 1. With 4 instead, North Carolina can go back to 5. 4 minutes to go, first half. Jordan penetrating. Now they whistle it over to Braddock. Pretty good shifting in there by the Wake zone.
Dean Smith coming in with Braddock, trying to get another outside shooter in the game. Doherty doesn't like to put it up out there very much. Braddock will shoot it.
Jeb Barlow's back in for Chris Brust. Worthy's played the entire first half so far. 2 fouls, but he's off to a great scoring start. 11 points, which he got in about the first quarter of the game. There's Barlow, left-hander, comes up short. Johnstone rips it off for Wake.
Dangerous pass.
Yep, almost picked off by Black again. Boy, Tom's wanted to lob. There's the shot and the foul by Jordan.
North Carolina right now has to be concerned about their zone offense. They just have not figured out a way to attack Wake Forest, and without Perkins, they can't do it with talent, so they're going to have to figure out some way to get another scorer on the floor.
John Towns had signaled for an alley-oop over there, but
he was open too, Jim.
Yep, I think he was. Here's Stanley Young down the line. Latest array by North Carolina. There's his figures.
He's given double-figure scores, which is what Carl Tacey wants. And for a sophomore, he's got 56 assists and only 31 turnovers, which is pretty good percentages for a point guard.
That's going to be a pretty big game for him. He's back within just a few miles of his hometown. Worthy in the lanes. Rebound tipped off the side. Jordan will get it, and he's fouled by Barlow. Barlow's first foul. Now that's 17 fouls, and Wake Forest goes to the bonus here for the last 3 minutes, 14 seconds of the first half. That familiar slap of the hand.
Down enough to play in the 90-foot length.
Helms gets the bonus. He's a great free throw, of course. Now Helms has reached the 1,000-point mark in his career. Right there, just scored his 1,001st, 1,002. 24-23. Wake Forest has never led in the game. They're within 1 point with 3 minutes and 10 seconds to go. It'll be an interesting 3-minute stretch here, Bill.
You see they're putting Michael Jordan now in the middle, trying to get him posted up. Look at Worthy. He really wants the ball. And Johnstone's aware of it. He's trying to stay right in front of him.
Tough to lob it over Johnstone, who's 6'11". 24-23. North Carolina wants that by 13 points. Barlow didn't even look for the shot.
Well, they're really concentrating on Worthy. They don't want him to touch it. Look at Johnstone almost playing him like man-to-man in the post area, doing a good job on him.
Oh, this is great patience here, though, by North Carolina. Braddock Black is open. You no longer can call him an underrated player, Bill. He's a solid guard for North Carolina. 26-23. Tar Heels back to a 3-point lead.
And back into man-to-man.
There's Rudd. You see they've come out of the zone with Rudd in there. He can pop them from outside. There's Helms short. Rebound goes down, and we got a jump ball. It'll still be North Carolina's ball. 2 minutes, 10 seconds to go in the first half. What that play did was set up the next possession for Wake Forest, possibly to start the second half.
Yeah, Morgan did a good job diving for that ball just to go ahead and create the jump ball situation.
3-point lead, North Carolina. They led by 13 points until Wake Forest cut it to 1. Now the Tar Heels have a chance to go back up by 5.
Still, North Carolina has to figure out where do they get point production in this game.
There goes Michael Jordan. Hits Brust. Worthy now's on the weak side, tries to cut in. Wake really jamming up around Worthy. There he is, but no lane.
Sam Worthy smart enough to realize he can't score every time he touches the ball.
Has a reach-in foul. That'll be on Danny Young. Or is that on Toms? Thinks it's on John Toms. This will be his second.
What's
team foul number
foul?
6. Number 6. Both teams are bonus now, but there'll be no shot here. 1 minute, 33 seconds to go. This game really changed around. We've had 2 different games here in the first half. First quarter belonged to North Carolina. Now Wake Forest has come back. There's Doherty, 16-footer, air ball, and it's outside. Good save by Brust. Here comes Jordan.
Good block.
Blocked inside by Jim Stone. Brust up inside. Now it's tapped in by Jordan. Great flurry on the boards by the Tar Heels, 28-23.
Jordan listed, but he can really sky.
Plays more like a forward, doesn't he?
What's good about him is that he didn't have to make the adjustment to the guard poorly. I mean, he can play back there, and then he's so versatile, it's easy for him to move into the front court.
John Times on the left. Mike comes here. Johnstone cuts to the center. Tries to feed to Times. Now Johnstone underneath. His own rebound. Tipped outside to Braddock. North Carolina possession leading by 5. 28-23. Tar Heels getting a new surge here in the final minute. Jordan. Michael Jordan, the sensational freshman for North Carolina. Tar Heels are back up by 7. 30-23.
Wake going to go for one shot right here. Rudd looks like the crowd's getting to him a little bit.
6 straight points by North Carolina after Wake had cut it to 1. There are 12 seconds to go in the half. Johnstone maybe too soon. Rebound, lost out of bounds. It'll go to Wake Forest with 6 seconds to go.
And that wasn't the shot that he wanted either. I believe that the crowd, the intensity, the noise, Worthy going out, smart.
Barlow back in. He's suddenly becoming a key player for North Carolina tonight with Perkins out. Also Buzz Peterson, the freshman, is in, number 22. There goes Helms under heavy guard hits with 3 seconds to go in the half. And now here's the long one from Braddock. Oh, that was about 75 feet, and he hit the rim. But the first half is over. North Carolina's big lead melted, but now they surge back, and then it's cut to 5 just before the buzzer. That's the end of the first half of play. The score, North Carolina 30, Wake Forest 25. We'll be back with a recap of the first half. Well, that Bose is some beautiful character.
Still in.
Hurry. 5 seconds to get it in. Just made it on the 5th count. 30-25. Danny Young double team. North Carolina comes out pressing. Nobody picking up Morgan. That is Morgan. Chichi starts the second half in place of John Toms. Everybody else is the same for both teams.
I don't know if North Carolina realized what defense they're in. Let's see. They're in man-to-man. I don't think Brust realized what defense they're in. Still doesn't realize it. He just running around finding the man somewhere because he's ended up on Helms.
Yep.
Everybody's playing man-to-man. And
they had Tichy on Doherty for a moment down low.
There's got to be a mismatch out there someplace they can take advantage of.
That was right off the fingers of Johnstone, but you got to credit that to a North Carolina player who cut in front, got a hand on the ball.
Wake Forest players should have recognized that it was Brust on Helms and cleaned out for him and let him take him from the outside.
30-25, North Carolina leading. 2-1-2 zone for Wake Forest. He used this for most of the first half. Michael Jordan. Jordan the first half had 6 points. James Worthy, the big scorer, with 13. Picked off, but almost by Morgan, but they get it back to Black. Michael Jordan driving baseline, gets it to Brust. Beautiful pass by Jordan. The only way to describe it, and Brust has got his 6th point of the game.
And give Brust a lot of credit on that play because you just had to assume that Michael Jordan was going to put that up.
And there's Doherty. Telegraph pass, and Doherty almost had it, and Jordan was in the blocks ready to break. 32-25. Well, a heady ball player, Doherty.
Well, he was 0 for 3 in the first half. He's got to be counted on to get a little bit more production in the second half, but I'm sure Wake Forest is going to let him shoot before they're going to start playing him in that zone.
Johnstone gets the soft foul. He walks. Traveling by Johnstone eliminates that hook shot. That was an obvious walk.
He needed either to catch that ball a little cleaner or put it on the floor one time.
North Carolina now, stage is set if they want to start moving away again. They've come from just 1 point ahead, now leading by 7, 32-25. They led by 5 in the half. Wake had cut it to 23-22. So it's been 10-2 for North Carolina, and Jordan a little bit outside. Rebound Johnstone. There's it to Morgan. Wake will not break.
Well, this is one of the things that Wake Forest really misses this year, not having Frank Johnson, because he'd have forced the break on that play.
There's Johnstone finally getting his hook away and scoring his 10th point. 32-27. Teams now even up to a piece here in this half.
Wake stays right in that 2-3 zone. Johnstone in the middle.
Thrown away. Doherty was trying to go to the weak side of Jordan. At that moment, Jordan decided to break inside. There's Carl Tacey signaling what he wants his team to do. Oh, a great teacher, isn't he, the silent man?
He's really put together an excellent program. His teams are competitive each and every year. He's taken 2 different ball clubs to the NCAA tournaments. Got a good chance this year also if they continue to improve.
Well, he's been twice with Wake and went once with Marshall, where he had a great season down there, 23-4, and Huntington, West Virginia, before coming here. Morgan, double team. Almost lost the blind side. Helms.
Danny Young's wide open. Nobody can see him.
Tichy takes the perimeter route. Anthony Tichy's 4th point. Wake creeping in there again. Back within 3. 17 minutes to go on this one. North Carolina fans trying to come alive. They're missing Sam Perkins. He's in the hospital tonight watching. Little stomach virus. Blocked on the outside, and Brust fouled by Morgan underneath. You have to be impressed with the way Brust has finished, filled in here today for Sam Perkins in this game tonight. He was 2 for 4 in the first half, 6 rebounds, and had an assist.
You notice how Doherty kind of winds up to get that jump shot off, as opposed to a guy that can just take it from the catch and put it right up. And that little wind up, of course, what created the block.
32-29, 3 touch pass, and Brust can't handle that one.
Good idea.
Maybe he has to wind up for the shots, but not for the passes.
Now remember, for young kids playing out there, you've got to know who you're passing to in addition to where that pass is going, because there's some players obviously can catch that ball a little better than others.
Danny Young gets by Jimmy Black's press. He's trying to force him to his left. Jim Johnstone comes high, now to give him a release. Morgan wants the ball inside against Brust. Brust trying to deny.
Morgan and Johnstone having a hard time getting together on that little triangle that he and Tichy and Morgan, Tichy, and Johnstone trying to run inside.
Now the outside shot by Young. They're trying to open it up, and it's grabbed by Morgan for a fall away in front. And the goaltending is going to be called.
I think it's going to be on Tichy for knocking it out of there.
No basket. Offensive interference.
Yep.
And Pacey now showing a little motion on the Wake Forest bench.
I think Tichy got a piece of the ball. Close up there.
3-point lead. North Carolina gets possession of the ball. And here's Tate. He put his finger on rebounding as being the key to this game. Of course, that comment was made with Perkins still expected to play.
Now, both of these teams are out rebounding their opponents by about 6 rebounds a game, which is quite a margin considering the competition they've played against.
North got a little trouble rebounding. They did against Duke. Worthy 3 men on him. Now, there was Doherty. Took that ball down low. Bill on the fake. That's what you were talking about a moment ago. Down again, you see. Worthy powers it.
Oh, great block.
Block and a foul on Morgan.
He had his hand right on the ball. They may call him with the body, but he was really in there to stop Worthy. Watch this. He probably got a little piece with that chest of his, but he really was up there.
We got to James Worthy, who is 3 out of 5. Worthy, for some reason, has had some free-throwing difficulties. Such a natural athlete and a good shooter. Worthy shooting 68% from the line. You expect a guy of this caliber to be over 70 at least.
Morgan has 16 blocks on the year, and he has excellent timing, has long arms, and he gets a lot of blocks, has throughout his career. Here comes full court pressure now. Trap. Young needs to back up a little bit and relax.
And he finds John Toms.
Toms has had some real good scoring games so far this year. Hadn't gotten untracked in this one.
Wake Forest almost strictly to a half-court offense here in the second half.
That was that same play. They throw the ball over on one side of the court, and the guard runs, and then they set the screen on the defensive man in the zone.
Bill, North Carolina's a 1-3-1, and you know they often just will suddenly jump out of there with trap on you.
And they have guys that can do that so well because Doherty and Michael Jordan can really come on you.
And left Helms unguarded, and that's a critical mistake against this Wake Forest player. He can really shoot him. He's still over the 1,000-point mark tonight for his career, and I just pull Wake back within 3. 34-31, 14-40 to go in the game.
North Carolina still struggling, trying to get somebody else to put some points on the board.
North Carolina doing a good job passing in the zone, throwing over the top of the zone. Jimmy Black, top of the circle, and Doherty is there to get it.
Notice most of North Carolina's baskets against his zone have been of the garbage variety. Not hitting the jumpers. They've just been getting second shots, which is great.
There goes Worthy, blocked inside, and a foul on the play. Pointing to Morgan, that'll be his fourth if it's on Morgan.
And they can come back with Tichy in that position. Wake Forest much deeper than North Carolina. Good dump inside. Here comes Worthy across. I think Danny Young got a piece of him first.
But that was Morgan trying to help from the weak side. Worthy now, who's shown a new touch at the line here tonight. That's 5 in a row and 6 out of 8 for the game.
Barlow in for Brust again. Kind of surprised that North Carolina has recruited a lot of tall kids last year. Brownlee, Martin. Martin has been hurt a little bit. Expected to see them get in more action, but they really haven't evidently come along as well as Dean Smith would have hoped.
Timo Makinen, who was held out for the most part last year. 36-31. Those players are all the 7-foot range. 5-point lead. Here's some Helms off the dribble and rebound by Worthy. Out to Black, and Black is blocked and fouled. Young got in there too late.
Jimmy Black did not have possession.
Now, wait a minute.
I
think they're going to call a charge on Black.
This is going to be an interesting call. Did Black have possession or not? Because it's a time or distance rule is going to be the key. They're going to call a walk-in violation.
Walking by Black. Nobody fouled. The ball will go to Wake Forest, and Dean Smith seems to settle for that.
Well, not a bad play. One ref has one foul. One ref has the other. The other guy says, let's call it walking.
Tiebreaker, right?
Yeah, tiebreaker.
There you go. Well, I think he did walk before the collision. Wasn't a bad call after all. 36-31. 5-point lead by North Carolina. Could be a good possession here. Goes Toms to the outside. Rebound, and Doherty and Toms fouls on the reach in. Third foul on John Toms.
Toms was 0 for 1 in the first half with that starting assignment there tonight. Hadn't hit yet in the second half, and then compounds the mistake by going in and fouling after the missed shot.
36-31. His hometown not too far from that of James Worthy of North Carolina. Shelby and Gastonia.
Shelby, wasn't there a player in the ACC from Shelby?
Let's see. I remember his initials.
Number 44.
Yeah. David Thompson. He was from Crest High School. There's a blocking foul on North Carolina.
That's a good call.
Danny Young decided that time to take it all his way, and Jimmy Braddock got in there too late.
See, now Wake Forest pushing the ball down the floor. One of the things they have not been able to do well this year.
It looked like Young changed directions in midair.
That's what happened. He moved aside, and that didn't square up with him, and Braddock just kept moving on backwards.
Danny Young now goes to the line for Wake Forest. He was 0 for 2 in the first half. Had his big game against Clemson this year. He scored 26 points.
Normally a good free throw shooter, but this year down considerably. Only shooting 63%. Should be a lot better than that because he has a nice pure shot.
Of course, he had a year last year as a freshman to study under one of the fine backcourt players of the year, Frank Johnson, who's doing quite well in the NBA.
Very well.
36-33. Again, here's Wake within 3. They got it to 1 late in the first half with 3 minutes to go. Then Wake Forest, North Carolina went on a surge. Now it's been cut back to 3 again. Jordan inside, batted away. Loose ball. Jimmy Black will control for North Carolina.
Toms was a little bit lackadaisical going after that loose ball. Could have picked off another one.
Barlow batted away, and then is batted away again by Worthy and out of bounds. Looked like Tichy got a hand on it. Then Worthy reached for it, went out of bounds, and will go to Wake Forest. A chance here to cut it to 1 once more. Wake Forest has never led in this game, nor has the game been tied.
Now Kepley in the ball game. Of course, his dad played at the University of North Carolina. Good shooter for Wake Forest. Here comes that jump trap, and right now out of that
there's Kepley, nobody there. And he walks. So Kepley, fresh off the bench, was wide open, then suddenly decided he wanted to go a little closer, saw a defensive man coming, and shoveled it, maybe a little indecisive what he should do.
I think he was, Jim, and of course, if you're that wide open on the side, the object for the offensive player is get as close to that zone as you can and still get that shot off. He was a little bit out of range.
Saw turnovers even this half. Only about 1 or 2 difference for the first half, so very close in that department. 36-33. North Carolina. Michael Jordan through, spots Doherty.
Nice
Jimmy
fade.
Black penetrates inside, picked off by Young. Great move. He anticipated the pass to Doherty. And there's the lob to John. Great pass.
That's
Johnstone. And it's goal interference by Michael Jordan. So Johnstone gets his 12th point. And Wake is back within one.
Any big guy that'll run will get his chance to get a number of these kind of baskets. Wake Forest really hustling there. See Michael Jordan going above that rim.
36-35, North Carolina. Wake Forest has bounced back once more with 12 minutes to go in the game.
And once again, the key for North Carolina is, Jim, they haven't been able to find somebody else that can open up, because Worthy's been buried down there in that zone. They just don't have another scorer that they can throw out there at him.
Jordan, of course, not as effective against the zone. There goes Worthy again inside the right hand. Oh, how he can switch that ball from left to right and score midair. 19 points for Worthy. 38-35. Tar Heels go ahead of the Deacons now by 3 with 11:35 remaining. Very big game, because if Wake Forest could pull off an upset here tonight over the nation's #1 team, there'd be a 3-way tie for first place in the ACC. You think Terry Holland may be rooting for somebody tonight? Kepley. Kepley was sent in to shoot, all right.
He was in much better position to shoot that time. Threw it up there a little hard. You know he's got to be a little bit psyched up.
38-35, North Carolina. They have not yet given up the lead, but twice the lead's been down to 1 point. Inside, Brust knocked down by Toms. Big turnover again for Wake Forest. Gives them a chance to get back within 1. So this seesaw battle continues here with a share of first place in the ACC on the line for the Deacons.
Straight man-to-man now by North Carolina.
And possibly first place for the nation on the line for North Carolina.
Wake Forest ought to pull this baby out and give Johnstone a chance on Worthy. Worthy still has just those 2 fouls.
Up. Almost a turnover. Good recovery. There goes Johnstone banking. Johnstone has been the man, just like Worthy has for North Carolina.
That's an excellent thought by Danny Young right there, to pull that ball back out and make Worthy play Johnstone one-on-one.
Reading your mind, Billy. 38-37. 1 point lead again by North Carolina. Third time the Deacons have been within 1.
Worthy wants it inside now on Johnstone. Every time he's touched it, he's made something happen.
Technical, is it?
Well, let's see.
They just asked Morgan to sit down, I guess.
Well, they may be calling the bench rule that he was on the court.
Well, whatever, Joe Forte. And he's sending Dean Smith back to his bench.
That's a good move. He's keeping him in the bench area.
We have 10 minutes, 6 seconds to go in the first half.
What's the call?
I don't know. We'll find out, I guess, in just a minute here. A crucial point in the game, perhaps. 1 point lead for North Carolina. With the score, Tar Heels 38, the Deacons 37. Let's pause for these messages. Scheduled for 8 p.m. January 26th. Will now start at 7 p.m. here on the Metro Sports Network. 38-37, 1 point lead. Big possession for North Carolina. They have not given up the lead.
Notice how Worthy's still trying to get position.
That's picked off by Young. Here comes Young on Black. He's going to take it right in for the layup. Danny Young. And Wake Forest leads for the first time in the ball game. 1 point lead for the Deacons, 39-38.
Don't think for a minute, Jim, that if Dean Smith gets this lead, he may not say, hey, I'm going to pull this ball back out here, because his zone offense is really not there. There's no shooting power in the game other than Jordan will put it up and Worthy put it up, but Doherty hadn't hit anything at all tonight, and Brust is not an offensive threat, and Jimmy Black only shoots every once in a while. There's Doherty.
Doherty. That's the shot they're looking for in the North Carolina camp. That's his first basket tonight.
That was an absolutely critical shot for their team, because he had not put up any shots. He hadn't hit anything, and you've got to have more than 2 guys that are going to take the shots out there.
Good job by Mike Helms there to break in to give a release to Toms. Man-for-man pressure been thrown off. Now North Carolina jumping back. Are they man? Yep, man-to-man.
They're looking for Johnstone again.
There's Tichy.
They're looking for Johnstone.
Danny Young, he gets open from the side. Danny Young scored the last 2 baskets, and he's the guy that's given Wake Forest the lead both times they've had it. Now 41-40. 2-3 zone. Wake Forest is kind of sneaking quick out of the zone, aren't they?
Well, they had, particularly when they have Morgan and Tichy and Johnstone in there, because they've got 3 guys that can play that back line.
What a fade that was by Jordan. And Worthy fouled on the play. Ellery Johnstone's second foul.
He had to be able to stay up there with it.
Back to the James Worthy streak now. He's 6 straight free throws he's hit here in this game tonight.
Of course, how about Mr. Tissall last night for Duke University, standing up in that foul line in key, crucial situations, and despite the timeouts that were called, he did nothing but net.
Well, after you'd gone down court, Bill, I had some regrets we didn't name Mike player of the game.
That's a big miss.
Yeah, that left the game tied. And for the first time tonight, it's tied 41-41. 9 minutes, 10 seconds to go in the game.
Jimmy Black coming out and pressing.
Well, they're looking for Johnstone. 2 men in front of Johnstone.
Tichy brought his man over there, too. Johnstone wants a clear out in there to work on Worthy.
Danny Young penetrating, reach-in foul. That's on Doherty. Now, Matt Doherty, that's only his first foul. Team fouls, just 2 on North Carolina this half. Wake Forest has committed 5. Score is tied here. The first time they've been dead even so far. Wake Forest has led twice, 1 point each time. North Carolina by as much as 13. And with a score now, 41-41 deadlock.
Carl Tacey coming back now with Morgan, Jim, so he's going to gear on down now. He's got 4 fouls on him. Good defense by Black.
Good job by Young to spring out of Black's grasp. Not the easiest thing in the world. He's still forcing Young to go to his left. Morgan playing now with 4 fouls.
Oh, Johnstone has Worthy on his back. No lob.
Gotta hurry. And they got the jump ball call.
A lot of people don't realize this, but when a man's being tied up like that, the count continues until the ball touches another player. So in that particular case, even though Morgan had thrown the ball, it hadn't reached anybody yet.
North Carolina's vaunted defense comes through again, giving them possession here with a tie score. 7.5 minutes to go in the game. May turn out to be the big play of the night. Who knows?
I think if North Carolina gets the ball and a 2-point lead with any time to go from here on out, you'll see them pull Wake Forest out of the zone.
41-41 tie. Knocked down Brustad. Here goes Michael Jordan floating in. Doherty feeds it home. Worthy and a turnover. Worthy can handle a pass, which was going sort of downward flight.
Matt Doherty's got to take that shot, and he's got to prove that he can make that shot.
Now Morgan sits down again, and John Toms replaces him. So Morgan will be saved for later with his 4 fouls. 7:13 to go. Black down with a little passive press, it looks like, on Young. Now they're going to trap him.
Smart.
Young saw it immediately, goes to Toms.
Smart move by Young to get rid of that ball in a hurry, because he's back there all by himself. If Black ever steals the ball, it's over.
That ball batted out. It's off the fingertips of Helms. Helms thought that Jordan had touched it, and he tried to avoid touching it. Apparently we did not. Boy, the turnovers here becoming crucial. This gives North Carolina a chance to break this deadlock. 6:48 to go.
Worthy still trying to come on inside that zone. Look at him knocking guys
That's
down.
a foul on Worthy.
Yep.
Worthy just got pushed. Seconds before that, nobody saw it. And then he collides and goes down. He's a pretty level-headed young man, though.
Well, remember the 2-handed chest pass he threw, what was that, against, what do we have, that Maryland?
Yep.
Got a technical foul called on him because he threw a 2-handed chest pass, almost knocked the referee over.
Didn't do that.
He won't be doing that anymore.
Learned his lesson.
Here's tough. Helms really not that adept in the backcourt by himself with a dribble.
Score remains tied at 41. Now 6:25 to go. Toms inside to Johnstone. A great left-hand layup.
I bet you Carl Tacey's saying we've been trying to do that the last 3 times down the floor. He's got Worthy on his back. Wake Forest hasn't been able to get him the ball.
43-41. Wake leads. This is the biggest lead they've had. Previous leads were by 1. Braddock on the outside. Ball goes over to Wake Forest. Well, sometimes a matter of a quarter of an inch, does it?
See Dean Smith calling a timeout. He does not let the game get away from him, and he knows how critical.
So before the game, and I don't think he's going to change his mind. Do you, Bill?
No, I don't think he is. You know, Dean Smith, kind of a superstitious type of fella. He said, you know, this game was supposed to be played last night, and they changed it for television, and he said last night Perkins could have played. We may see Sam coming from the infirmary pretty soon, as they're in some trouble here.
I think the last time North Carolina lost at home was
double team.
Wake Forest, and they're still going to. And that was Danny Young showing a very smart play. He realized Wake Forest would get possession of the ball, and he did not try to make what could have been an unwise
club together. Despite that horrendous shooting early, they kept their composure and really did well down the stretch.
Wake Forest ball.
well-conceived out-of-bounds situation?
I think you're right. I don't think there was a jump ball call there. I think it was just a timeout by Wake Forest.
Which really saves them, because now they could maybe get back in that situation again, and the next time, if Carolina would tie them up, would still revert back to Wake Forest.
Well, it's still their turn for possession. Jim Johnstone give and go. Danny Young layup. Oh, what a move.
Worthy never anticipated that Young was going to challenge him, and Young just hesitated, dribbled, went right by.
No help from the weak side by North Carolina. 4-point lead Wake Forest, the biggest of the game. 5:20 to go.
Now Doherty and Braddock are going to have to show they'll put the ball up under this pressure. Got to put it up some, because that zone's really looking out for Worthy and Michael Jordan.
They're not giving Jordan the baseline.
Braddock's got to put the shot up.
Worthy has all avenues clogged toward him. Well, there goes Jimmy Black. He'll do it.
Now you can count on him.
Not a bad guy to have going for you. The chip's down. 45-43. Wake by 2 with 4:50 remaining.
North Carolina's a tough team to play a half-court freeze defense, offense on, too, because they'll come out and trap you and force you down onto the baseline.
And, of course, constantly switching defenses. They'll keep you off balance also. Johnstone's almost in position, and he walks.
No place to go.
Critical turnover with 4:33 to go. You saw Johnstone pointing to his chest. My fault, coach. North Carolina a chance to tie the score. 4 minutes, 33 seconds to go.
That's good defense by Worthy. He pushed Johnstone out a little further than he wanted to be.
How many teams you know of, Billy, are better in the final minutes than North Carolina? Jordan to tie. Kept alive by Worthy, but a big rebound by Danny Young for Wake Forest. So Wake is back in possession with the lead. 45-43 with 4:10 remaining.
Morgan's still sitting down out there. I'm surprised that he's not in the ball game with his experience.
Boy, Danny Young faked to put that up, but I think instead he was looking to Johnstone.
Yeah, he wants to get Johnstone down on the baseline.
And the 4-minute mark. Here's inside Toms, and can't do it, and it'll be North Carolina's ball. Toms thought he had a layup. The defense was there for North Carolina. The Tar Heels come down again looking to tie. 3:35 remaining.
A lot of intrigue in this ball game. Look at Dean Smith sitting over there, nice and relaxed.
Why, every possession seems so magnified. Now you see they're skipping a man in the zone. They were with the lob passes. Worthy drops to Doherty, and that had been Perkins. He's been right there with a slam, maybe. So you can see the spots Perkins might be missed.
Of course, how does Alvis Rogers sitting down on the bench? He has to be here and watch it. Sam Perkins probably in the bed somewhere.
They may also be watching, though. 2-point lead by Wake Forest. Big possession for North Carolina now with less than 3 minutes to go. And it'll be Michael Jordan, freshman short, tipped by Worthy, and a foul on the play on Johnstone. Oh, Johnstone, he was flirting with a technical.
He might get a nut. He's got to really be careful there. That could be a crucial mistake. Last night, I got out of line in regard to what I thought was going to be called a 2-shot foul in the game over at Duke. Thought the referee signaled a 2-shot foul, what would have been a critical mistake. But for Johnstone to get a technical there would have put Worthy in the line 1-1. Would have gone ahead and put North Carolina with a technical. He lost the ball out of bounds.
He wasn't shooting, Bill, or was he?
Let's see. Well, he was grabbing a rebound at the time, so it's going to be ball out of bounds. Not in the 1-1 yet.
16 fouls. North Carolina be on the 1-1 the rest of this game.
So you don't want that technical foul when you're about to gain possession.
45-43. Oh, Jordan almost had the edge. 2:45 remaining.
Wake Forest been in that 2-3 zone almost the entire ball game after they started out man-to-man.
North Carolina, very cool team here, trailing by 2. Jimmy Black, he did it before and again.
That time Black and Jordan switched positions, so Black had the wing spot and hit it.
That ties the score at 45 with 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go. Wake Forest still has 3 times out left. Johnstone trapped and fouled. Foul is on Jimmy Black. 3rd foul against Black.
It's a good move by Black, though. He realizes what Wake Forest wants to do, which is get it in on Johnstone with Worthy on his back, and so they're really collapsing.
2 minutes, 14 seconds remaining.
Johnstone has that tendency to put that ball down one dribble on the inside, so North Carolina trying to take advantage of it.
Here's Morgan back in. There's a gunny shot that is hit by Helms. Hoy Helms took it all on his shoulders from about 18 feet away. 47-45. Wake back up with 2 at the 2-minute mark to go. Well, the whole nation could be stunned by this one. North Carolina, undefeated, ranked #1 in the country, both major polls. Worthy down the middle to Doherty for
Good
the layup.
hesitation.
And Doherty again. Foul in the play by Young.
That'll be a 2-shot foul.
Third foul by Young. And Doherty will go to the line. He's 1 for 2 tonight. Only 3 points. Doherty on the season, hitting 81.5. That's pretty impressive.
We see the foul right here. Doherty really battling well. You know, they list him at 6'8". I find that hard to believe that he's quite that big, and he got ripped on the arm.
Wake Forest going to call timeout. They'll give Doherty a chance to think about it here. We saw this strategy last night backfire on Jim Valvano of NC State.
I don't think it's for pressure as much this time as it is, Jim, is for Carl Tacey wanting to get organized. There's a lot of situations to discuss here. If Doherty misses, are they going to hold the ball? If Doherty makes them and it's a tie score, what are they going to do? There it is.
You see the importance here. Missouri might well move to the top should North Carolina.
The entire nation showing that there's good teams from top to bottom, and it's very difficult to go through a conference schedule undefeated.
Boy, so many great players today. Okay, Doherty on the line for 2 shots. Needs them both to tie the score.
Now
47-45.
Now Carl Tacey probably set up a situation that if they get the ball back with the lead, they're going to act a lot differently than if had this score been tied.
It's down to 1. 1 minute 47 seconds to go. 1-point lead by Wake Forest.
I don't think they'll take anything unless it's a layup.
Blocking by Jimmy Black.
That's number 4.
Yep. Black tried to draw the charge. He's super quick, but so is Helms in this case. 47-46. That's 5 team fouls on Wake Forest. North Carolina can play aggressively for at least 1 more foul.
That matchup with Helms and Black, Wake Forest much rather have the ball in this man's hands right here because Black, a better defender than Helms, is a ball handler.
Loud pass to Teaching.
They're going to try to hang on to it, I believe. I don't think they'll take a shot unless they have an uncontested layup.
They really spread now. They're looking for the back door and the sure layup. There's a block outside. Here comes Michael Jordan. Feeds to Jimmy Black. Back to Jordan.
Oh, can you believe that?
Unbelievable
Great
play.
Hustle by John Stone. Can you believe they couldn't get the handle?
Look at the time. 1 minute 8 seconds and rolling. Wake Forest sweating out a 1-point lead. Lean over by Jordan. Third foul on Michael Jordan. They might have been choosing a man here to send to the line with 1 minute 2 seconds to go, and they pick on John Toms, who has not scored in this game. But that's only the 6th foul, so that strategy isn't going to work either. Still Wake Forest ball. You saw Dean Smith reminding his team that is 6 fouls. So both teams are on the bonus now as we're going into the final minute to play. Wake Forest leading by 1 point. Who would you foul, Bill, if it comes to that?
I think I'd put Toms on the line.
Well, has not scored. Got a disappointing night. There's the double team. Down to Tichy. Wake Forest keeping spread out. 38 seconds and rolling. Wake trying to sweat for a 1-point lead. There it is to Tichy, and he's fouled. That's Jimmy Black, just fouled out of the ball game. That could be a critical loss for North Carolina in the last half minute. But the pressure now is going to fall solidly on Anthony Tichy, who will make his first trip to the line.
He's not a very good
bad.
Well, he's 51% from the field and a 73% foul shooter from the line. 25 of 34 so far this year, and has a very peculiar looking style, but he wills them in there.
73.5. Tichy's waiting. There's been a hold-up in play here for some reason. I guess they're going to. Dane will take his full time to get the sub in for Jimmy Black.
He's got 30 seconds to get him in.
47-46. 1-point lead by Wake Forest. Billy Packer now is headed down the court side. Nobody under. Everybody is at midcourt or under the North Carolina basket. Tichy, big free throw. Oh, what a big one. 2-point lead. 48-46. Bonus shot coming. 5th point for Anthony Tichy. Goldsboro, North Carolina, sitting on the edge of their seats. pulling for this young native, a sophomore. Here's the bonus shot. They could stretch it to 3. And it does for Wake Forest. The biggest lead in the game has been 4. North Carolina's got 3 timeouts to call. There's Jordan down the middle, lost the ball, and he is walking as he goes through. And now it's going. Wait a minute, there might have been a foul called. Here comes Robert Taylor over to talk with Joe Forty. They're going to give the ball to Wake Forest, I believe. Yep, Wake Forest ball. Number 1, says Carl Tacey. Now, he's not signaling what he thinks his team is in the standings like a fan. He's calling their offensive work here in the last 26 seconds. 3-point lead by Wake Forest. They're on the verge of pulling their 2nd straight victory over North Carolina here at Chapel Hill on the home court. Wake Forest calls their 4th timeout right here. So we'll have 1 more left for Wake Forest. North Carolina has 3 remaining. Whether the Billies down, we can hear us yet or not, but it's going to be a frantic 26 seconds. You can bet on that. Wake Forest will have the ball at a 3-point lead. Wake has Tichy on the floor now instead of Morgan. They're breaking it backcourt to Danny Young. And there's the backcourt foul by Braddock. Gambling to try and bat the ball away, which would have given him an open basket. But really not being too concerned if he did commit the foul. Once more, Wake Forest sends all the 4 remaining players back to the North Carolina end of the court. That's Carl Tacey's strategy here, that if he should miss, then North Carolina will not get an easy quick basket. Danny Young on the line, 2 for 4, but they are his last 2. He has 10 points. That could be a big one for Wake Forest. It stretches the lead to 4. That equals their longest lead. If Young gets this one, North Carolina will be facing an uphill struggle of having to make up 5 points in 22 seconds. Got them both. 22 seconds to go. 5-point lead Wake Forest. Michael Jordan banks high. Slam deep. Jordan back up again. Will not count. There was a foul instead. A push-off against North Carolina. The ball will go to Wake Forest. The Deacons now are in perfect position to spring the upset here over Dean Smith's #1 ranked Tar Heels. A 5-point lead with 16 seconds to go. All right, what a great comeback by Wake Forest. Remember, North Carolina scored the first 8 points of this game and led by 13 at 22-9 midway in the first half. That's when Carl Tacey's team started their comeback. They cut it to 1. And now the free throwing here in the clutch has been outstanding. There's another one by Tichy. So Tichy driving another nail here in North Carolina's fates with 16 seconds left, stretches the Wake Forest lead to 6. Remember, one time North Carolina came from 8 behind with 17 seconds to go, but you wouldn't think that to happen again this century. Now it's a 7-point lead. 53-46, 15 seconds to go. Here comes Michael Jordan over the middle. He missed again. Johnstone couldn't handle it. It'll still be North Carolina's ball, but most important, the seconds now have clicked down to just 10 to go. 10 seconds remaining. North Carolina is preserving its timeouts in case it can score a basket. That'll be Jeff Barlow out of the corner. And there's Doherty. They're giving the layup, and he calls timeout. So Doherty, they did not want to foul him, cuts the lead to 5, but with only 4 seconds to go. This one now would seem to be in the column for Wake Forest over North Carolina. And their ACC race becomes jumbled again at the very top. 3 teams to share first place, it would appear, before this night's over. 4 seconds remaining on the clock right here. North Carolina 53, Wake Forest 48. So Wake Forest continues to be a thorn in the side of North Carolina. This would leave them 9-8 since the 1977 season. Well, we have a moment, so let's remind you that our McDonald's Outstanding Player Awards tonight go to, from Wake Forest, Jim Johnstone, who was magnificent on the inside when they could get him the ball, 16 points, and to North Carolina's James Worthy, who really led them during the first for Wake Forest. Long pass to Helms. Helms is finally fouled with 2 seconds to go. Well, that would seem to decide the issue. The Wake Forest players believe it. They feel it here. They've come 2 straight years into Chapel Hill. This one might be dampened a little bit by the absence of Sam Perkins, but it isn't going to take any of the glory away for these players here after this one's finally put away. Helms will be on the line. He's 2 for 2 tonight. Had 20 points here last year when Wake Forest really hammered North Carolina in an upset. Thought he would come in here and guard Michael Jordan tonight, but Wake wound up strategy-wise to be in a zone throughout. 54-48. First home loss for North Carolina since they lost to Wake Forest a year ago. 55-48 with 2 seconds, and the ball is thrown away. Wake Forest will have a chance here to just inbounds the ball. They'll run this one off, and Wake Forest will have put an ACC lead into a 3-way situation and perhaps taken first in the nation away from North Carolina. There it is, the final second. Wake Forest has done it again. They come back and beat a crippled North Carolina team because of the loss of Perkins, but they do it without their own Rodgers. A solid comeback victory for the Deacons. Final margin was their biggest of the game, 55-48. And now that puts the Wake record at 4-1. North Carolina 4-1 in the ACC. The 12th victory for the Deacons, and that's the end of the game. We'll be coming right back with a final wrap-up after these messages from your local station.